that time, instead of it being just a local recording, that people were going to possibly get to hear some of your talent. And so it was one of those times where you know, tried to play your best and do everything that you knew how to do musically.
Why did the Ohio Players break up? James Williams, at 74, has finally revealed a controversial reason behind their split. What caused this famous band, known for their hit songs, to go their separate ways? Was it personal issues or something bigger?
Worm was out. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a novelty song, you know what I mean? And a bit silly, you know what I mean?
Why did it happen after so many successful years together? In this video, we'll explore James Williams' thoughts and the untold story behind the Ohio Players' end. James Williams grew up loving music. As a little boy, he would beat on pots and pans in the kitchen, making all kinds of rhythms. His mother was very musical too. She played many instruments that had reeds like the bassoon, oboe, saxophone, and clarinet. His father wasn't a professional musician, but he could play the drums a little bit and loved to sing. With music all around him, James couldn't help but be drawn to it.
When I grew up in elementary school, my father and mother afforded me the ability and the availability to take 12 years of private lessons. I went in an all-city orchestra, all-city band.
Before joining the Ohio Players, James was in a band called Overnight Lows.
Well, actually, I was in a band called the Overnight Low that turned into the group called Sun.
He had never seen the Ohio Players perform, but people always said they were the best band around. James was competitive and wanted to prove that his band could be just as good or even better.
And I said to myself, you know how words are powerful. I said, if I ever get the chance to play with this band, I'm gonna have a job.
One day, Overnight Lows got a chance to play on the same stage as the Ohio Players. James was ready to show them up. He turned to his wife and said, if I ever get a chance to play with this band, I'm taking that job. That chance came 2 years later in 1972. The Ohio Players drummer, Greg Webster, got sick and they needed someone to fill in for the weekend. James got the call. He impressed the band so much that they fired Greg and kept James instead.
The Ohio Players really usher in a whole host of other artists and mentor them and bring them into the fore. And that's part of what makes Dayton, Ohio so unique as a medium-sized.
The Ohio Players, originally known as the Ohio Untouchables, had a rough start. They faced many problems because of unstable leadership. The band could not stay together for long as conflicts kept breaking them apart. In the early days, their leader, Robert Ward, was unreliable. Sometimes, in the middle of a show, he would simply walk off the stage. This left the other members confused and forced them to stop playing. After dealing with this problem for a while, the band decided they would keep playing even if Ward left. However, things got worse when Ward and another band member, Marshall Jones, got into a fight in 1964. This fight led to the band breaking up again. Even after the breakup, Ward tried to continue performing. He found new musicians to back him up, but the original band members returned to their hometown, Dayton, Ohio. They decided to move forward without Ward. They replaced him with a young guitarist named Leroy Sugarfoot Bonner. Bonner was only 21 years old at the time, but he would later become the face of the band. They also added drummer Greg Webster. Bonner wanted to change the group's style a little. He wanted their music to be R&B, but with a little extra flair. To make this work and to separate themselves from Ward, they changed their name to the Ohio Players.
My dad used to take us to the clubs. The Ohio Untouchables were playing. Hey man, that stuff was off the chain.
This new name reflected both their musical talents and their reputation as ladies' men.
These cats were they were real players. We trying to be like them. You know, we want to be players, but we ain't players yet, So we had to work on our skills.
They brought in 2 more singers, Bobby Lee Fears and Dutch Robinson. These additions made their sound stronger. They became the house band for Compass Records, a record company based in New York. In 1967, they also added another singer, Helena Ferguson Kilpatrick. With all these new talents, the band seemed to be moving forward. However, problems still followed them. By 1970, the Ohio Players had broken up again. But like before, they did not stay apart for long. When they're formed, they had a new lineup. This version of the band included Bonner, Clarence Satchel, Ralph Middlebrooks, Jones, Webster. Even with these changes, they managed to create some successful music. One of their early hits during this period was a song called Pain, released in 1971. This song made it into the top 40 on the Billboard R&B chart, proving that they still had a strong fan base. Around this time, James Johnson also joined the band as a vocalist and saxophonist. Dale Allen helped with some of the singing on their Westbound Records albums, Pain and Pleasure, but for some reason, he was not credited on them. Although the Ohio Players had some success, they struggled to keep a steady group of musicians. Many members left and new ones joined. This constant change made it difficult for them to maintain a consistent sound. One of their biggest losses was when Walter "Junie" Morrison left to join another band, Funkadelic. Morrison played a major role in the band's sound, so his departure was a big blow. Like many music groups, they faced many struggles along the way. These challenges included problems with record labels, money issues.
Motown took everything from their artists, you know. There were other artists that took 50% when you walked in the door, you know. Satch was the leader of this band at that time.
One of the biggest problems the Ohio Players faced was their relationship with record labels. When a band signs a deal with a record company, they expect to be treated fairly. But that is not always the case. Record labels often control the music, how it is released, and how much money the artists get. The Ohio Players struggled with this because they wanted creative control over their music. They did not want someone else telling them how to make their songs. However, the music business is tough, and the band had to deal with many disagreements about money and contracts. These problems made it hard for them to focus on their music.
I like money. There's something about money I really like. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about money. You know, I don't know.
Health problems also affected the band over the years. Being a musician can be very stressful. Long tours, late nights, and a busy schedule can take a toll on the body. Some members of the Ohio Players suffered from serious health issues, which made it difficult for them to perform. When a band member is sick, it affects the whole group. They may have to cancel shows, delay recording new songs, or even find someone else to fill in. This can be hard because a band is like a family, and losing a member for health reasons can change the group's chemistry. Money troubles were another major challenge. The Ohio Players were very successful, but that did not mean they were always financially secure. Like many other bands, they had to deal with issues like unpaid royalties and management problems. Sometimes, artists make hit songs, but they do not get all the money they deserve because of bad contracts or dishonest managers. The band also had expenses, like paying for equipment, travel, and studio time. If money was not handled well, it could lead to serious financial problems. Legal battles also played a role in the band's struggles. Sometimes, band members had disagreements about money, songwriting credits, or who should make important decisions. These arguments could turn into legal disputes, which cost time and money. The Ohio Players also had legal issues with people outside the band, including record labels and managers. These battles made it even harder for them to focus on making music. Another challenge the Ohio Players faced was competition in the music industry. When they started, their funk sound was fresh and exciting. But as time went on, new styles of music became popular. In the late 1970s and 1980s, Other bands and genres like disco, rock, and hip-hop started gaining attention. It became harder for the Ohio players to stay on top. Music fans' tastes changed, and record companies focused on newer artists. Staying relevant in the music business is not easy, and the band had to work hard to keep their place. Through the years, they created some of the most memorable music that still gets people dancing today. Hits like Love Roller Coaster, Fire, and Funky Worm are songs that people still listen to even after all these years. Despite their major contributions to music, James Diamond Williams, the leader and drummer of the band, is questioning why they haven't been recognized by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In a recent interview, Williams spoke about how the band has not yet been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is considered one of the highest honors in the music industry. He shared his feelings on the situation, saying that at first, he didn't understand why they hadn't been inducted. He admitted that he once thought their music didn't fit the rock and roll genre. But as time passed, he saw other artists being inducted, like the Beastie Boys, and started to question why the Ohio players weren't on that list. "It's right here in Cleveland, Ohio," he said, referring to the Hall of Fame being located in Ohio, which makes it even more confusing for him. Despite this disappointment, Williams made it clear that he didn't want to become bitter about the situation. The Ohio players' success didn't just come from having hit songs. It also came from their dedication to making music that felt real and genuine. Williams explained that the band has always been about playing real instruments and creating live music. In today's world, many bands rely on technology, using backing tracks and production tricks.
You know, we were called an underground group. That's how they used to label the band, like we were bubbling underground of being a pop, of having notoriety as a pop artist.
But some bands refuse to follow this trend. The Ohio players have stayed true to their roots, playing live music without relying on machines. This dedication to real music has made them stand out in the industry. The Ohio players believe in playing their instruments. They love the raw sound of live music. Many bands today use recorded tracks when they perform on stage. These tracks, called stems, are pre-recorded sounds that make it seem like a band is playing live. But in reality, they are just miming to the music. If something goes wrong with the stems, the whole performance can be ruined. The Ohio players do not do this. They play everything live, just like they did when they started. This makes their music feel more real and energetic.
Come time to do the gig, you gotta be really up. You gotta have energy.
The Ohio players have always been about love. Their music is filled with emotion and passion. Every album they have released has been centered around love in some way. Whether it's a slow love song or an upbeat funk track, their music carries a message. They believe that love is what makes music timeless. Their songs are not just about having a good time. They also tell stories and share feelings. One of the unique things about the Ohio players is that they have written songs that stand out from other bands. They are not afraid to be different. For example, they wrote a song called Contradiction. This song talks about the contradictions in life, which is something we all experience. Even today, this song remains relevant because the world is full of contradictions. They also wrote songs like It's All Over and I Want to Be Free, which express deep emotions that people can relate to. I'm gonna be free. Over the years, many hip-hop artists and other musicians have sampled Ohio players' music. Sampling is when an artist takes a part of an old song and uses it in a new song. Some people see this as a sign of respect, while others see it as taking credit for someone else's work. The Ohio players do not mind when other artists sample their music. In fact, they feel honored by it. But what makes them happiest is when they receive a check for it. At the end of the day, Music is a business, and getting paid for their work is important.
That time, instead of it being just a local recording, that people were going to possibly get to hear some of your talent. And so it was one of those times where you tried to play your best and do everything that you knew how to do musically.
The Ohio Players' music has not only lasted for decades, but it has also been influential in the music industry. Their songs have been sampled by many famous artists, including Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Jay-Z. Their music has appeared in commercials, movies, and television shows, proving that their impact on pop culture is still strong. Even groups like the Red Hot Chili Peppers have covered Ohio Players' songs. Williams is proud of this influence, saying that while it feels good to know that other artists are inspired by their work, he's even happier when he sees the financial rewards. He mentioned the success the band had when their music was used in a RAV4 car commercial, joking that he didn't even like the car, but the money was great. In talking about the band's longevity, Williams stressed the importance of love and dedication to the music. He explained that each member of the band has a strong passion for what they do. Even though they have a larger group now with 10 people on stage, they still give their all in every performance. Williams shared that the band takes nothing for granted and works hard to deliver the best show possible every time they perform. We don't take anything for granted because we know that every day is a blessing, he said. This mindset is what has helped them remain relevant in a constantly changing music industry.
Dayton, Ohio has an inordinate amount of global talent has come out of this town. You have any theories about why Dayton has been so prolific in this area?
Well, some people say it's in the water, Nelson.
Funk is in the water?
I think it's in the water.
James Diamond Williams has been keeping the Ohio Players alive for years, even though many of the original band members have passed away. That is the saddest part of the band's history, was the loss of important members. Losing a band member is like losing a family member. It changes the group forever. One of the most well-known members, Leroy Sugarfoot Bonner, passed away from cancer in 2013. He was a big part of the band's sound and energy. His death was a huge loss. Other members, like Marshall Rock Jones, also passed away, making it even harder for the band to continue. When key members leave or pass away, it affects not just the music, but also the spirit of the group.
You need a lot of weight. And in order to have a lot of weight, that means you gotta have every...
The Ohio Players, led by Robert Ward. He was a talented guitarist with a special way of playing. He helped form the band but left in 1965. Later in life, he suffered from health problems, including strokes, which stopped him from performing. Many other members also had difficult personal struggles. Bonner, one of the most famous members, had a tough childhood. He grew up poor and was the oldest of 14 children. At just 14 years old, he ran away from home and later met the musicians who would form the Ohio Players. Bonner once said that when he finally faced the audience and sang, they had a big hit with Skin Tight. Marshall Rock Jones was another key member. He played bass and was part of the band from the early days when they were still the Ohio Untouchables. Jones was known for his signature turban, which he wore on stage. He was the last surviving member of the original Ohio Untouchables lineup before passing away in 2016. These were the musicians who helped shape the band's unique sound and made them famous. Their loss was tough, not just on a personal level, but also for the band's future. Williams had to make sure their music and legacy continued. He didn't want the Ohio Players to fade away just because some of its founding members were gone. He believes their music still has a place in the world, and he has worked hard to make sure people still get to hear it. Looking back on the band's long journey, Williams said the secret to their success is simple: love, dedication, and passion. He believes that the reason they have lasted so long is because they truly love what they do. He also credits the band members, stage crew, and production team for making every performance great. He said there are 13 people on stage when they perform, and every single one of them takes the music seriously. He wants fans to know that for the Ohio players, it has never been about trends or technology. It has always been about making great music.
The expression of music that we've created was all about love. To make a good band, it's got to be about love. To make good music, it's about love. You don't receive that from no machine.
Even though many of the original members are gone, the Ohio players are still going strong. Their legacy is secure and their influence on music is undeniable. Williams knows that the band has made history and he is proud of what they have accomplished. He hopes that one day they will receive the official recognition they deserve. But until then, he is happy to keep playing and keeping their music alive. When asked about their legacy, the Ohio players say it is all about love. Love is what keeps them going. They love playing music and they love their fans. Every time they perform, they give their best because they know that music is a gift. They believe that true music comes from the heart. It is not about machines or pre-recorded tracks. It is about real musicians playing together and creating something special in the moment. The Ohio players also take great pride in their teamwork. A band is only as strong as its members. They have 10 people on stage, plus a road manager, a stage manager, and a sound engineer. That makes 13 people working together to put on a great show. They believe in working hard and giving their best every time they perform. They do not take anything for granted. Every opportunity to play music is a blessing, and they treat it that way. The band had 7 top 40 hits between 1973 and 1976. These included Fire, Number, 1 on both the R&B and pop chart for 2 weeks and 1 week respectively in February 1975, and another million seller, and Love Roller Coaster, number 1 on both the R&B and pop charts for 1 week in January 1976, another gold disc recipient. The group also took on saxophonist James Johnson. The group's last big hit was Who'd She Coo, a number 1 R&B hit in August 1976. It was their only success in the United Kingdom, where it peaked at number 43 on the UK singles chart in July 1976. Their title track, Ecstasy, from the 1973 album Ecstasy, was sampled by Jay-Z on Brooklyn's Finest, featuring the notorious B.I.G. from the 1996 album Reasonable Doubt. One of the biggest lessons they have learned over the years is to never take success for granted. The music industry can be tough and nothing is guaranteed. Many artists come and go, but the ones who stay are the ones who truly love what they do. The Ohio players have been able to last for so long because they have stayed true to their music and to each other. Today, the music industry is changing faster than ever. Technology is playing a bigger role in music production. Artificial intelligence is even being used to create songs. Some people believe that AI will take over the music industry, but the Ohio players do not believe that machines can replace real musicians. Music is about feeling, passion, and human connection. No computer can replicate the energy of a live performance. The Ohio players have contributed so much to music, and their legacy is undeniable. From their groundbreaking hits to their unforgettable performances, they have earned a place among the greats of music history. It's time for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to recognize them for their hard work, talent, and the lasting impact they've had on music and culture. The Ohio players deserve their moment in the spotlight, and James Diamond Williams is hopeful that someday they will finally get the recognition they've earned.